So, Code Veronica is getting a remake? I can't say I'm surprised, but at the same time I'm not angry or even opposed to the idea of this getting a remake. Because Claire is a character written well. Not even well, she's just great. I'm happy that she's finally getting the attention she deserves. And in this current remake-heavy and risk-free climate in gaming, anything with Claire is a luxury. I'm not kidding, by the way. She wasn't even mentioned in Resident Evil 9, despite the fact that we're back in Raccoon City, Chris is mentioned, Leon is in the game, Sherry is in the game, and her Labubu is in the game. Plenty of people already made videos discussing the trailer, giving their theories and expectations, but I would like to add my 2 cents to the conversation and focus only on the character design. A good character design conveys a lot of information about a character and the world. Just by a quick glance, you can tell the personality of a character, their role, interests, or at least learn something about the world that the character exists in. This is the general idea behind character design, and this is the logic behind my reasoning in this video. Of course, the way a design conveys information is not the only aspect of a good character design, because there's stuff like silhouette, color choice, and other things, which are equally important, but I'm mostly focusing on one aspect today. So, we got some promo images that show how Claire is gonna look in the game, and I have mixed feelings about this design. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, and Claire looks really pretty, but at the same time, I just expected something different. Her hair color doesn't sit well with me. In this image, Claire is a brunette, even though in her almost every appearance, her hair have this fiery/dark red shade. I know that her color was changed in RE2 Remake, despite the fact that in the OG game, her hair was also red. But at the same time, I just don't understand why was her hair changed in the first place. If I were to guess, 70% of Resident Evil characters have either way brown or blonde hair, and her red hairstyle was something definitely unique, and very fitting if it comes to her character. Claire's assigned color is red. Red is the color of action and fire, but also bravery, love and emotions. Claire is a character who's definitely guided by emotions, more than the logic. She's emotional, self-sacrificing, ready to jump into action anytime. She's humanitarian. It makes sense that she not only wears red, but has red hair. Moreover, in character design, hair is something specific in a way. Hairstyles and hair colors are 2 things that are changed rarely once the character's design has been established, unless there is a very good reason for that. Claire changes her hair only once in Revelations 2, and it's still red. In Resident Evil, characters usually don't change hairstyles. The only 2 characters I can think of is Leon, because his hairstyle reflects his mental state, and Jill. And Jill herself is like a topic for another day. Other characters that appear few times in the series, like Chris, Rebecca, Wesker, simply don't change their hair. Code Veronica takes place 3 months after RE2 Remake, so maybe they decided to make her hair brown because she's a brunette in RE2? But my point is, I don't see the reason for changing her hair in the first place. I said it once and I will say it again. This design is not bad. It's okay, it looks pretty, but I simply miss her red hair. I'm pretty sure no one would have a problem if her hair were changed back to red in like the Code Veronica remake, or Veronica as it's called now, because Claire is a character fairly easy to distinguish. In media like Infinite Darkness or Defiant, which take place years after Resident Evil 2 remake, her hair are red again. So it's not like it's a permanent change, just so we're clear. I don't hate her brown hair, or brunettes in general. Brown hair are pretty, and I definitely recommend this color to pretty much everyone. My hair naturally, biologically, are brown. I wasn't born with pink hair. Shocking, I know. I just think that Claire having red hair is just more unique and fitting if it comes to her character. The other thing I would like to point out is her jacket. I love her design in original RE2 and RE2 Remake, and she looks great in jackets overall. My problem is, over time her design was reduced to just random pants and red jacket. This is not something terrible, but I feel like sometime after Resident Evil Degeneration, her designs were reduced just to fit a certain mold. Her older outfits were unique in a way. She didn't just wear jackets, she had vests. And even when she had a jacket, it looked nicely. It had bold motifs and fitting imagery. It's great that the Valkyrie motif is more visible in, the upcoming Code Veronica remake than the Valkyrie in Resident Evil 2 remake. But I'm still kinda disappointed that she's wearing a jacket instead of a vest. Her design in original Code Veronica simply feels like a natural evolution of her design in RE2. I see remakes as something that lets you fix old mistakes. In Resident Evil, remakes of the games take storylines more seriously and, for the most part, make the plot better. Newer games are more serious and you can feel it just by a quick look at character designs. They are, on average, more practical. This is a good thing for the most part, but you don't have to sacrifice personality of a design for practicality. I like Claire's design in RE2 Remake. I don't really understand why is the Valkyrie symbol less visible than the Valkyrie in her OG design. I use the Valkyrie and Claire as an example, but I think it can be said about the designs in general. Claire is a character who is confident. She isn't exactly a character with strong morality, but introverted, subtle nature. So I just don't really understand why is the Valkyrie symbol so subtle compared to the Valkyrie symbol on her design. The older one, I mean. As I mentioned before, I see remakes as an opportunity to fix all the mistakes. You can absolutely take what works in the old design and fix few little flaws that the design has. And if something works, there's no need to change that. I agree that the vest isn't exactly the most practical thing to wear in December, but for once, I wanna see Claire in something different than just a red jacket. Now, of course, I am not a professional character designer, but I think that giving Claire a vest and some thermal long sleeve, or at least a red jacket that looks a bit different than those we have seen 1,000 times before, would be more fitting. The last thing I would like to touch on is the wing symbol. I love the angelic imagery in her designs. I love angelic adjacent aesthetics in general, and I love them even before I got into Resident Evil. Claire is supposed to be an angel in a way, but the symbol she had on her original vest looked like this. It looked like an angelic wing and flame at the same time. It just made sense to use imagery of fire in Claire's design. Fire can symbolize burning passion, strong emotions, action. Claire, however, can be extroverted and sure of herself, but she is empathetic. She's compassionate and kind. The flame represents her both natures, the compassionate one and the ready-to-fight one. Those two natures are not conflicting. They coexist together. This icon looks like a flame and an angelic wing at the same time. And this is genius. Code Veronica is a game where Claire kicks ass, and she's absolutely badass, I love her. But at the same time, this is not her only trait. She listens to Steve, she comforts him, and she shows genuine kindness towards him and Rodrigo. It feels wrong to reduce a character to just one symbol, even though she had so many layers and imagery associated with her. Claire doesn't have to be just associated with angels and red jackets. Fire is also beautiful in a way. Fire can absolutely destroy, but it can give you warmth. Also, in the original design, the fire icon is yellow, and yellow is also a color associated with action. Maybe making this icon yellow or giving this metal a yellowish tone would look better, or maybe just making it white so it matches the white Valkyrie symbol. As I said before, I think this design is okay. It's good. And I know that many people are just satisfied with what we've got. And that's okay. Some people would be satisfied if Capcom released original Code Veronica with fresher graphics without changing the story or gameplay. And that's okay. From what I've seen, this design is fairly liked. Some people are just satisfied with this. But I think this design could be different. And I'm saying this as like #1 Claire Glazer. I'm not kidding, by the way. I would also like to take a look at the old lady that greets Claire at the beginning of the trailer. She seems to be wearing a green cardigan, and green as a color is associated with nature and medicine. She is also wearing a striped shirt, and to be honest, I do not know whether it's white and red or white and brown, but the dark lighting doesn't help. I'm not saying that she works for Umbrella because the colors of her shirt match the colors of their logo, but I just wanted to point that out, and that would be funny. Also, notice how the ringtone suddenly disappears once the old lady leaves Claire alone in the room.
It must be the maintenance man from this morning. Won't be long. I'll bring some nice coffee to go with the biscuit.
I know it's too early to say anything about character design and characters as a whole, but I'm pretty sure that this is Steve. What's kind of confusing, at least for me, is the fact that Steve has red hair, yet Claire is now a brunette. Nevertheless, I'm actually happy that the designers kept Steve's red hair. His hair color and, I guess, haircut always made him look young. It just suits him as a character who is overly confident, but at the same time, Steve is supposed to be 17. He's immature, impulsive, angry at the whole world, angry at everything and everyone. Also, in the trailer, Steve is shown to be wearing a hoodie, but I think that this hoodie won't be like a permanent element of his design. I am saying this because his original jacket, with a prisoner number on the back, is quite iconic in my opinion. And objectively, this is a good character design element. Like I said before, if something works well, then there's no need to change that. Of course, I'm not hiding the fact that they will probably really change his design to fit more dark and gloomy aesthetic of the game. But I think this jacket just suits him well, and I just hope that they won't change it too much. It's fine if they reimagine it, but I wish they just kept the prisoner number on the back. What I think they will keep is his choker he has on his neck, because Claire is shown to have a similar one. And maybe they will keep his pants with like a camo print on them. I've always liked the camo print because it made him look like a soldier or an action hero. But aside from that, I think it's safe to assume that his design will be changed. Some elements will be, of course, kept, but I think it will be mostly reimagined. I am saying this because, one, Resident Evil Veronica seems to have this horror-y, dark atmosphere, and secondly, Steve's original design isn't that good. Like, it's okay. As I mentioned before, I like the camo print on his pants, I like his jacket, and I like his choker. My issue is, there are too many colors clashing together and fighting for your attention. There is the camo print, blue, red, yellow, black accents. When you're designing a character, you have to keep a limited color palette. Of course, in media there are characters and art styles that use very jarring, saturated color palettes. There are character designs that have like a lot of shades in their design, but there's usually a good reason why the artist decided to break some rules and design a character that way. The basic idea is that if you want to break the rules, you first have to learn them and know why you're breaking them. Nevertheless, they changed Claire's design quite a bit, so I think the same will happen to Steve. I know that Steve isn't exactly the most iconic character. I haven't seen anyone who says that his design is actually genius, but I am really looking forward to seeing this guy and playing this game. At some point in the trailer you can also see this guy, and the choice of clothing is intriguing, to say at least. If you didn't know, original Code Veronica had some more or less subtle Nazi imagery here and there. For example, the uniform that Alfred wears in the game, especially those he has in concept art, closely resemble SS uniforms. It seems that the remake doesn't want to avoid the topic of Nazi imagery. In my opinion, it serves a purpose. It characterizes the Ashford family. If you didn't know, Alexander Ashford, aka the father of the twins, aka Nosferatu, was obsessed with restoring glory and prestige of the Ashford family. If you have any knowledge about history, you know that Nazis were also quite obsessed with restoring great power of Third Reich. Same can be said about Italian fascists. Nazis used pseudoscientific research in their propaganda. Nazi ideology is intrinsically linked to eugenics, and eugenics is a theme that absolutely appears in Resident Evil. The Ashford family is characterized as deeply disturbed. The game does not try to glorify the Nazi imagery in it. In the trailer we also got a small glimpse at a character that, I think, might be Alfred. They kept red as his main color, but they toned it down, so it's less saturated. This is a nice touch and it just suits the aesthetic of the game. What I also like is the fact that he got white gloves, which make him look like actual royalty. However, they get rid of his medals, and that's unfortunate. They looked really good in my opinion. Unless this character is an Alfred. White gloves, at least for me, give off this butler energy, and the butler character is actually mentioned in the original game. And who knows? Maybe the butler character will get like the Lewis treatment, and he will not only physically appear, but also will be more overly important to the story. This is an idea I am not opposed to, but there is a small problem with it. The number of characters in the original game is already big, and trying to add more characters into the equation may cause some problems. In the original Code Veronica, that this game is supposed to be based on, we have Claire, Steve, Chris, Wesker, and the Ashford twins. Each character needs their screen time to fully explore and characterize them. Of course, not every character needs the same amount of screen time. But my point still stands. Stuff gets even more complicated when you consider the fact that the remake will probably feature more content with HUNK. Again, I am not opposed to the idea of bringing HUNK closer to Claire, but this is another character that needs some acknowledgement. HUNK as a character is mysterious, his screen time is limited, but he is still a character. In conclusion, I am excited for this game. I am not a person who follows leaks, and I am overall skeptic to them. But if I had to give you my predictions, then it's safe to assume that Steve's personality will be changed, at least a bit. A lot of people find him annoying, but if you ask me, I have a pretty neutral opinion on this guy. And all you really need to do is change his voice lines, tone down his confidence, and you have a character that is decently liked by the fanbase. Also, I've always kind of believed that this moment in Ori 2 is supposed to be some form of foreshadowing, in a way.
So what's the first thing you want to do when we get out of here?
I want to see where you live.
Good. 'Cause I take a shower.
Yeah.
It just feels oddly specific for Ori 2 Remake to mention Claire's home when the player knows that after the events of Ori 2, she goes to France to search for Chris. Unless I'm thinking about it too deeply, and this is just a joke. Stay safe, everyone.